How about we turn up the debate and we just watch Easy Money with Rodney all night? Oh, no, that wasn't Easy Money. That was Caddyshack, right? Yeah, no, it was Caddyshack. Dave Sussman here at Real Side Radio. How's everybody doing this night? It is hour number 2, and you can give us a phone call here at Real Side at 855-732-5563 on the Salem and JCN Radio Network on 67 stations across the Fruited Plain. I am so delighted to have our next guest calling in now. This is Buzz Patterson, folks. Buzz Patterson, yeah, you know his name. He is the Republican candidate for California's 7th Congressional District up near Sacramento, a U.S. Air Force pilot, lieutenant colonel and commander. He was a White House aide and the former carrier of the nuclear football under President Bill Clinton. And welcome, Buzz. How are you, good sir?
Fantastic, Dave. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing really well. So starting out, first of all, there's so many questions I have. And by the way, folks, if you're going to enjoy the next couple of segments with Buzz, check him out tomorrow. We're going to have him on our long form at Whiskey Politics, and we're going to have a full hour to sit down and really pull things apart and hash them out. But give us, if you can, in a couple of minutes, because I want to talk to you about our current politics of time, your history with Bill Clinton for our listeners.
Okay, Dave. So I was an Air Force pilot. I served all around the world, flying airplanes for the Air Force, flew in combat. I mean, literally, I think in my final service, I flew into 69 countries in my 20 years and 6 continents. And I was asked to be President Bill Clinton's Air Force military aide and carried the nuclear football in 1996. So I moved into the White House. I actually had an office in the White House in the bedroom. In the White House for 2 years, was by President Bill Clinton's side and oftentimes Hillary Clinton. There's a lot of stories I could tell you guys about that. But I carried the large black satchel, which accompanies the president no matter where he is, anytime in the world, 24/7. I was that guy for 2 years for President Clinton and was by his side, saw a lot of things, and it really kind of pushed me right in terms of my politics, my conservatism, and I retired from the Air Force in 2001. Started writing books about my experiences, and now I'm running for Congress.
And you've written a lot of books. And some of them have been very, very critical of several administrations, the Clinton administration, the Obama administration as well. And you've got a ton of bestsellers that are out there. And now you are running for Congress in California's 7th Congressional District, and you and I have spoken about this before. We've met at different events for candidates. That is a very flippable seat, right?
Absolutely. It's about as good as it gets, Dave, in California. So it's a Democratic +3 district. So for people who are listening, that means there's 3% more declared Democrats than there are Republicans, which, again, in California, that's about as good as it gets. It used to be a Republican seat until they redrew the lines back in 2012. My opponent is a guy named Ami Bera, Democrat. He's been there for the last 6 years. We can win this. The White House is paying attention. We've got a lot of momentum so far. Ami Bera will not debate me. I'm looking forward to going through. So we've got the primary, the Super Tuesday is coming up on Tuesday. We got to get through that. Get the top 2. We're going to be fine there, Dave. And then we got to go through the summer. And again, I don't think Ami Bera can stand up to my ideas, my experiences, my background, my resume. He's just one of those guys that has just been a kind of a placeholder for Nancy Pelosi. And I think we're going to take him down and help Donald Trump get the House back again and get the majority back.
Everybody should check out Buzz's website if you want to help him out win that seat back, because this is all about the House, folks. We've got to get that gavel back from Nancy's clutches and give it to Kevin McCarthy. And you can find him at buzz4congress.com, buzz4congress.com. And also follow him on Twitter. He has a lively feed, has a huge number of followers, and you can find him at Buzz Patterson on Twitter. Buzz, let's talk about the state of our election right now. Before you came on, I was actually talking about something that's not making a lot of news right now, and that is that you can listen to the mainstream media, and they could tell you, as the Democrats are telling you on that dais tonight, that the Democrats could beat Donald Trump. But according to the odds makers at Bovada, it's one of the world's leading online sports books, and you know these guys, Ladbrokes, they bet on everything. What we are looking at right now is all all the Democrats are long shots to take back or to win the White House, where Donald Trump is the easy favorite right now. What do you think is happening between the dichotomy of the media reporting what the polling is and what these folks are seeing right now as far as the actual odds makers?
I think that's a great point, Dave. I think what you're seeing is the same thing that happened in 2016, where the national media and the pollsters, were assuming like 98% were predicting Hillary was going to be our next president, and they missed, by a wide margin. And I think that I'm watching the Democratic debate right now. What a clown act this thing is. I mean, it's a clown car, and I don't see anybody on that stage that's going to come anywhere near President Trump. And I really got to say, I mean, I'm on the ballot in November, and I got to say, I think the biggest miscalculation for the Democrats was pursuing this impeachment hoax. I think that, I travel across the country. I do a lot of speaking. I travel across California. I do a lot of speaking. By and large, most Americans are fed up with politics as usual in Washington, D.C., whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I think people can agree now that the process doesn't work. We needed an outsider. We got an outsider in President Donald Trump. I'm an outsider. I think we need more. We need more fresh approaches in Washington, D.C., less of the status quo, less Nancy Pelosi, more Donald Trump, less, Bernie Sanders, more Buzz Patterson. And I think that's where we're going. And I think the Democrats really overreached with the impeachment, and they miscalculated. And it's really gonna hurt them in November.
I agree with you, and I want to agree with you. I also have some genuine concern at the fact that we actually have what looks to be the front runner, a devout socialist. I mean, I don't know what that says about our country or the direction of our country. And I want to talk with you and kind of get into the weeds and all of that after the break here. But again, folks, everybody needs to go check out Buzz Patterson's site. You can find him at buzzforcongress.com, buzzforcongress.com, and follow him at Twitter at Buzz Patterson. It's going to come down to the House. And if the Republicans want to get things done, with President Trump being reelected this November, which Buzz, I, and most people, including the odds makers, are suggesting is going to happen. Don't allow that to allow you to be complacent, folks. You got to get out there and vote, because they're going to be fighting you every step of the way. But we need to get the House back. And I want to talk more with you, Buzz, about all of that, the state of the Democrat Party as we see it today, and really what we are looking at as a future of two different options that people are facing right now, with re-electing President Trump or going down the road of socialism, which as a legal immigrant, I moved away from. So many people did to get away from it. And all of a sudden, this is now one of the realistic options that America is facing. Holy cow. So we're going to be right back after the break with Buzz Patterson. Don't go away, folks, here at Real Side Radio. We'll be right back. Dave Sussman here in the chair, Real Side Radio on the GCN Salem Radio Network. And you guys can give us a phone call after the interview. We'll start taking calls here at 855-732-5563. But first, we are speaking with Buzz Patterson. You can find Buzz Patterson at Buzz for Congress, the former carrier of Bill Clinton's nuclear football, best-selling author of multiple books, and now Republican candidate for California's 7th Congressional District near Sacramento. Buzz, we are looking. I'm first of all, let me just say this. I'm looking here at I'm looking at the dais, and I am absolutely just marveling at who these people are representing as one side of one of the two major parties of the United States. We have we have the leftists, including Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg. The media want to call them the moderates, but we know they're leftists, all the way to extreme communism today. How did we get to the point where we have a leader of one of the two major parties in the United States who's selling communism and socialism, and people are buying it?
Well, they're off the rails. I mean, I don't want to get too comfortable and too optimistic about November, but the Democrats winning tonight, I'm watching the same debate, and I'm watching, you've got Bernie Sanders who's leading the field across the country. And he actually spent his honeymoon in the Soviet Union. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. And Elizabeth Warren's attached to his hip. And you're right. I think that with Buttigieg and Klobuchar Biden, I think that they're purported to be moderates, but they're not. They're leftists. I would go so far, Dave, as to tell you that I think if Barack Obama or Bill Clinton was running tonight on the stage tonight, I think it would be right of center. They would probably be Republican candidates. That's how far left the Democrats have lurched. And I think it's because they've lost control. I mean, Nancy Pelosi has lost control, and so has Chuck Schumer. So we've got people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib are running the party now, and people like Pelosi have been around forever, have lost control. And we've got people like Biden up there as a blithering idiot. I mean, he should retire. We've got Bloomberg is buying his way in, multi-billionaire buying his way in. There's nobody up there right now that I can see, Dave, quite frankly, that can come anywhere near Trump. But I also say to Republicans that are listening tonight, don't get complacent. You've got to go vote. You've got to be there on November 3rd. And you got to vote down ballot. So if you're California 7, please vote for me. I'm a Trump supporter. I want to get that vote and kick Ami Bera out of office.
Yeah, and I think that we're looking at a situation right now where everything is about the House. You and I have spoken about this. You know, we're in a place where Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and Gerald Nadler, they're not done. Just because they lost impeachment, just because Trump got acquitted, they're not finished. They're looking for any other reason to continue investigations, and they still are on this president. How important is it that the Republicans get back the House in 2020?
100% important. I think that President Trump, I've talked to the White House, and I'm telling you that in 2018, he was so intent on not losing the Senate that they kind of took their eye off the ball in the House, and we got our clock clean, especially in California. We lost a whole bunch of seats in California. So I think that I've heard President Trump say on several occasions recently that he wants to get the House back, because if he doesn't, we don't. Then we have 4 more years of impeachment and Nadler and Schiff, and we can't afford that. The American people can't afford that. I mean, President Trump has been flying through some incredible headwinds for a long time, 3 years. Yeah. We've got to give him back the House. Let's pursue his agenda. Let's get things done. And I think he's really intent on supporting candidates like myself, getting the House back, and putting Kevin McCarthy in the speaker's seat and sending Nancy Pelosi off to the pasture.
What would you suggest are the 3 most important issues to you and that you would work on as you win a seat in the House of Representatives?
Well, in California 7, they're very clear, Dave. So California 7 has an unemployment rate of 13.8%. It's a very middle class, upper middle class district. It's a big district. We've got a lot going on, very diverse, lots of farmers and ranchers, and we've got a tech corridor. We've got some lower income areas, but the unemployment rate in California 7 is 13.8%. That's almost 4 times, Dave, the national average. So something's going on. Something's happening in California 7 that's not happening across the rest of the country. So it's small businesses, and I think that is reflective of the tax structure here in California, as you are probably intimately aware of. The tax structure, the fact that homelessness is a huge issue, and we've got to tackle that. And Gavin Newsom's not doing a damn thing about that so far, and President Trump has he's indicated he's going to make this a federal issue in terms of homelessness. And what really hurts my heart, Dave, is it's being a veteran of 20 years in the Air Force. A lot of these people on the streets, the homeless, are fellow vets. We've sent over to Afghanistan and Iraq 4, 5, 6 times. And they come back and they've got issues. They've got PTSD. They've got addiction issues. They've got alcoholism issues. They can't find jobs. And I just think we owe our own citizens a lot more priority than we do with illegal aliens here in California, and sanctuary cities are a big issue. So there's a lot going on in California. So there's a lot going on in California, and we've got to address this. And I can tell you, for the last 30 years in this state, Democratic leadership, quote unquote, has been a disaster. I mean, this used to be a Republican state under President Ronald Reagan. We've had Pete Wilson was a great governor here. And since then, we've had people like Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom, and we're going in the wrong direction. So I hope to be part of that wave that brings California back onto the radar in terms of making it again the once great California Golden State, making it great again. When we got 53 congressional districts in California, 53, Dave, and as we speak tonight, 7 are Republican, only 7.
Yeah,
that's got to change, and I hope to be a change agent.
We got Buzz Patterson, Buzz4, the number 4, Congress.com is where you can find out about him and his platform. Buzz, you know, in November of 2018, there were a half a dozen seats that looked like they were going to stay in the column for the Republicans, most of them in Orange County. And as days turned into weeks, and even in some cases a couple of months, they all flipped to the blue. How much of a problem is ballot harvesting in the state of California?
It's huge. It's huge, and I think that Republicans have done a horrible job. So Democrats do a great job. And for the listeners that are listening that are not part of not California residents, so what ballot harvesting is that people for either party actually can go around and they can go to locations, community centers, or homes where people are unwilling to go vote or unable to go vote, and they can actually fill out their ballots and take them in and drop them off in mass. And I think what happened in Orange County, especially, Democrats were way ahead of the ball there. They got off and did a lot. They got a whole bunch of votes, and Republicans were slow off the mark. And we've got to figure out how to get there. Theoretically it's cheating. Mm-hmm. If people can't get to the vote, they can't get to the ballot box, or they can't vote online or on absentee ballot, they shouldn't be allowed to vote. And we've got a lot of illegals voting in California as well. So we've got some issues. I know that Judicial Watch has been doing a great job in terms of trying to clean up the rules. For example, in L.A. in 2018, there were 138% registered voters in L.A. County. See, that's simply impossible. You can only have 100% registered voters, and we had 138% in L.A. County. So we've got some issues to figure out. But I do think that Republicans can make some inroads. We've got to be more vigilant. We've got to be more active, which is why the complacency thing, Dave, we cannot be complacent. I mean, we've got to get Trump another 4 years, and we've got to get our guys and girls out there and volunteer and walk the streets and make sure that we get President Trump the next best possible 4 years. This is our last shot at giving him 4 more years. And
Buzz,
hopefully,
in our last minute here, Buzz, tell everybody how they can help you, where they can find you, and get involved with your campaign.
Well, yeah, Buzz4, the number 4, Congress, Buzz4Congress.com is where you can find my platform and my phenomenal team. I've got a great team. I'm also all over Twitter. As you talked about, Dave, earlier, I'm on social media, especially Twitter. I like to have fun on Twitter, so go to Buzz Patterson on Twitter. What we really need is support. We need people to spread the word. We're going to win this in California 7, but we need a team. I need you to be my squadron and my wingman and join me as the lead pilot, and let's get this thing done.
I could be Goose? I could actually be Goose?
You can be Goose. If I could be Mav, you're Goose.
You're Maverick. All right. I'm going to see that movie this summer, by the way. Buzz Patterson. He is the Lieutenant Colonel and Commander, White House aide, and former carrier of Bill Clinton's nuclear football. He saw enough. He came to the dark side. He is now a Republican and a candidate for California's 7th Congressional District near Sacramento. Buzz, we'll be talking real soon, tomorrow, in fact. And thank you so much for joining us tonight. And everybody, go check out his site at buzz4congress.com. We'll be right back here with more here at Real Side Radio. Don't go away, folks.